Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
What you got? What's going on?
I have got how do I stay motivated
Okay.
in a crazy shifting market? I have gone from making well over six figures to just barely scraping by. I'm
Okay.
struggling.
Okay. So tell me what's not motivating, or where are you finding, where are you struggling?
It's not even motivation. I have tons of motivation. I am working every day. I'm calling my sphere. I have a hard time. Um, I'm kind of that secret agent.
Okay.
I have a hard time telling people, hey, I'm a realtor
Okay.
and I'm really good at my job.
Yeah. Okay. So why do you have a hard time telling people that?
I don't know. I don't know. We have I live in a very small town in southern Utah.
Okay.
We have over 800 agents in our MLS.
Okay.
So the competition is insane. I'm with probably the largest brokerage in my area, which I have great support from my broker. She's phenomenal.
Okay.
Um, I've been in the business 4 years this month.
Okay.
I have always been in sales. I I've built businesses from the ground up and been so successful. The last 3 years of my business, I have been incredibly successful.
Okay.
I've been sick for about 9 months now.
Okay.
So my motivation I haven't been able to work my business. So now I'm coming back in. I'm starting to feel better, but I don't it's I feel like I don't even know where to start.
Okay. Okay. I'm just taking a few notes here so that we can see like where your thought pattern is.
Okay.
Okay. So you have a couple different like sections here. Um, this is you are dang good at your business, right?
I am. My clients are more than clients. They
Okay.
leave as friends. And
Okay.
that's very important to me.
That is very important. And that helps you with your repeat and referral business. Okay. So I'm sorry, have like got my man voice on this morning.
It's allergies.
Oh my gosh, it is out. It's crazy. Okay. So here's a couple things, and I want you to kind of recognize like where your brain is going. Okay. Okay. So and you kind of got to the end of it here, which is the catalyst for maybe why you're feeling a little bit less motivated. There's a couple things that I'm hearing from you. The first thing was you took time off and now you're coming back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're telling yourself that, it kind of sounds like you're telling yourself you're starting over.
It feels that way.
Okay, so it feels that way because why?
Because I have done 6 transactions this year to my normal 35.
Okay, so you're comparing, you've had time off. There's a reason why you've had time off. You've got less transactions, but you're looking for evidence to support why you have less transactions, but you're looking also for it outside of yourself, which is there's 800 agents, the competition's insane, the market is crazy. Like
Yeah.
we're looking for external reasons why you're feeling that way.
Yes.
Okay. So there's always lots of agents. There's
Yeah.
always competition. This is not changing and it's not something you can control. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
this is not something we can control. And you kicked butt even when there were more agents. There's less active agents now than there were when you were selling more properties because now it's harder
Yes.
because the market has changed. Okay, so there's a little bit of that. The disconnect between you telling yourself that you are good at your business, but yet there's like something inside of you that's saying, like, because I've sold 6, that means I'm not, or I'm lacking, or tell me why 6 like means you're not.
Yeah. I feel like I'm behind. I know I'm a better agent than what my sales are showing this year.
Okay, so you're looking for proof that you are, again, external proof that you're a good agent
Yeah.
based on the number of houses you've sold.
Yes. And I'm trying to find the motivation to get back out there and not be the secret agent.
Okay. So here's the thing. I want you to write this down.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to grab this. I don't have to rewrite this really fast. And I'm going to show you what this is first. Okay.
Okay.
I'm really crooked. It's kind of obnoxious. Hold on. I'm going to turn it. Hold on. Not bring the whole house down at the same time. Okay. Okay. So we're going to do a little thought work. Okay. This is perfect. This is great for everyone to be able to learn. So everything in life can be fit into 5 categories. Okay. And those 5 categories are very intertwined, and they're reflective off of each other. So the first thing is our circumstances. Everything can be categorized as a circumstance. Not everything, but a circumstance is a fact.
Yes.
It is non-negotiable. It is a fact. Okay. So that there's 800 agents, like the number of agents, the number of homes you've sold, those are just circumstances. Those are facts. Okay. We give meaning to those facts, to those circumstances, based on a thought that we have about them. So when you are thinking like that there's 800 agents, well, actually, no, where we're at is you sold 6 houses, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to move this down for a second, and we're going to fill you in. So you sold, that's a fact. You sold 6 houses this year. Okay. Okay. What is the thought that you were having about selling 6 houses this year?
Not enough.
Not enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Not enough. And it's meaning something else to you.
I feel it's failure. I'm failing.
Okay.
I'm letting my family down.
Okay. Okay. So you're failing by selling 6 houses.
Yeah.
Okay. And that failure, saying that you're failing, is creating what type of feeling for you?
It's creating almost a sense of anxiety.
Okay. So I'll kind of fill this in as we go too. So our thoughts are what create the feelings that we have. We
Yes.
don't have anxiety without a thought that created it. Selling 6 houses is not creating anxiety.
Yes.
You thinking that you're failing is what's creating anxiety, right? So that anxiety, what happens when you have anxiety? What do you do or not do when you have anxiety?
I act more on emotion than with what's the word?
And
intention.
yeah. Okay, so you react on emotion. You're doing a little spinning.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're looking for the reason, you're trying to solve this problem as if it were a problem.
Yes.
So a little bit of spinning is going on. And this is where this is where your motivation is not coming from. Right? So
yes.
you are unmotivated. Okay. Well, so our actions are what cause our results. That's where our results are coming from. So if you're reacting on emotion, you're spinning, and you're not motivated, you're less likely to be successful.
Yes.
You're less likely to sell more houses, right? Okay. Okay. So here's the thing. Agents usually come to me and they're like, I am unmotivated. What lead sources? Like, how do I find more sellers?
Yeah.
How do I find more buyers? How do I sell more houses? Right? That's always the question that comes from this. But here's what you can't solve by finding more sellers. This is why lead sources is not our problem.
Yeah.
Our problem is that you think that you're failing. That's the hiccup that we have right now. Because if we go to what's called our action line and we try to just do more things in our action line, we don't show up the way that we need to show up. We're still have anxiety because we're still functioning off of the fact that we think we're failing. So in order to make progress in your business, this right here is what you actually have to address.
Okay.
And then once we address this, it creates a feeling. You can create a new feeling for yourself that's going to create the actions that you really want, because you're a dang good realtor. You have the skills, you've proven it, you've done it before. So now you're kind of spinning, wondering, why can't I do it? And you're looking for evidence and reasons, which is coming in. I was sick, I'm coming back in. There's all the agents, there's all this competition. But if you're a dang good realtor and you can believe that and tap into that, then none of those things matter.
Yeah.
Okay. There's always competition. There's always some sort of thing we're coming back from. There's always hiccups in life. There's always all those things. The way that we become more emotionally in control and resilient of ourselves is by becoming really good at being aware of our thoughts and what they're creating for us, and then changing those faster. Okay. Now, when we create this, does this all make sense?
Yes.
And
Perfect sense.
does this feel true to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. So, which is great, because now we know exactly how to fix your sales problem, right? That's not a problem, but to increase your sales.
Yes.
So when we are not trading out, but when we are creating a different thought that's going to really manufacture and create the feeling that we want to have to help us be more productive, we can't just tell ourselves something that's not true. Right. So you don't want to tell yourself that, what's not true that you've been trying to tell yourself. What have you been trying to talk yourself into?
Probably being more verbal with people that I meet.
Okay.
I always tell my husband, I'm a closet extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very introverted when I'm out in the public, and I'm not with my family.
Okay. But yet you've sold how many houses so far?
Oh gosh. Well, I sold 36 last year. I think I sold 38 the year before, and my first year in 27. So for my area, I've done really well.
Yeah, that sounds extroverted enough to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, like you're trying to find evidence and a reason why you have only sold 6.
Yeah.
Okay. So taking that emotion out of it, what do we want to think about having sold 6 houses?
I should be proud of myself for selling the 6 houses that I did,
Right.
being sick.
Okay. You should be, but are you? Because this has to be a true thought. If it's so it can't be something that you're trying to talk yourself into.
Yes.
Makes sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I always feel like I should do more. I'm a doer. I built many businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in the corporate world, and now starting over, and I'm middle-aged, and I decided to start a new career at 49 years old, and it's scary.
Yeah.
But the first 3 years of my business were super successful, and this year has been a struggle.
Yeah. So
in fact, I just canceled my Zillow leads because, first of all, they're garbage.
They're garbage right now. Yeah. Because the rates are too high. Nobody's buying, so no one's clicking. The same thing happened when the rates went up last time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got squirreled and I was just going to tell you. So what if it sounds a little bit more like you've sold 6 houses, right? And maybe it's not like, oh, I know what I was going to tell you. So when we're in a should cycle, okay, I should feel like this, I should be doing this, there is no way to get out of that. There's no resolution that you're going to find, because you're telling yourself something, almost trying to shame ourselves. Like, I should sell more houses. My business should be more successful. I should be able to talk to more people. None of the shoulding is going to bring us positive. So we're going to get a net negative result is what happens with that. And so just be very aware. If you're telling yourself you should do something, how about we sit down and decide what you want to do? Why don't we just find some clarity in what we want to do, right? So I've sold 6 houses, and what? Like maybe it doesn't sound like I'm so proud of myself that I've sold 6, because really authentically to you, you desire to sell more than 6.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we're shooting ourselves, I should sell more than 6, sounds a lot different than I want to sell more than 6. I have a desire to sell more than 6. I have a desire to sell however many.
Okay.
Does that invoke a different emotion to you to say, I want to do this instead of I should do this?
Much different.
It's a much different, right? But a
Yeah.
small little thing. So you've sold 6 houses, right? So what do we want to think about that? Because you can't change where you're at right now, but we can change where you are going forward.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of myself for selling 6 houses and feeling really crummy while I did it.
Okay.
I'm proud that, you know, I drug myself out of bed to sell those 6 houses. I'm proud of the success that I've had to this point, and I'll have more success in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So what if you just told yourself, I'm freaking amazing that I sold 6 houses the way that I felt?
Yes.
Like, and I will sell more.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
That feels much better.
Yeah. Does that feel true to you?
Yes.
Okay. So we got to add the freaking. I am freaking amazing, and I sold 6 houses, and I'll sell more. Okay, so
Yes,
what kind of feeling does that create for you?
it definitely takes the anxiety down.
Okay, what's the feeling that you have?
Oh,
my voice today.
knowing that I can do it.
That's not a feeling.
Feeling probably calmer instead of having that anxiety, that desperation feel.
Okay.
It definitely takes it down several notches.
Okay, so we might up level you then, and let me tell you why. Okay, because a feeling of calm, when you think I'm freaking amazing and I sold 6 houses and I'll sell more, that creates calm for you.
Yes.
Okay, so this is good, right? And this is going to get you out of the anxiety. What I want you to work on is, what would you have to think to create some excitement for you?
That's a hard question.
Yeah. So I mean, and it can be homework, but we want to create some excitement so that when you wake up in the morning, you aren't focused on being fearful, and you're not focused on the anxiety, right? You're not focused on feeling like you're failing. You are driven. This is the only difference between people who find success and people who struggle.
Sure.
Is that if we wake up and we're stuck in that fearful anxiety mode, right? Because we're so worried and we're in that spinning cycle, then we don't make progress. But if we wake up and we go, okay, sure, the market's different, but I can figure it out.
Yes.
Right? The market's different, but I've proven I can do it, because you do have evidence supporting the fact that you know how to go out and sell houses. So it's different, and I'll figure it out.
Yes.
Right. The language is a little bit different that you're talking to yourself with, because what happens is, even when you're calm, what kind of actions do you tend to take?
I'm much more relaxed. I'm out in the community more. I talk to more people. I do know that when I am not feeling the anxiety and the fear of judgment, I'm more friendly.
Yeah. Which is that extrovert that you're like, I'm not an extrovert. I don't like to talk to people, but you sold 40 some houses.
Yeah.
So you must like to talk to people at some point, and you just figured out when.
Yes.
When you're feeling calm, then you like to talk to people.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's your secret weapon, is getting out into the community and talking to people.
Yeah.
So creating
Absolutely.
that for yourself, then you're more likely to get your results. You're going to sell more houses. And I know it sounds really simple, but it really is true. I 1000% know that this is true. That when you, so I experienced this, the first time I recognized this was when I was going through a little bit of depression. Usually will happen in the winter, right? And then I didn't really want to get out of bed, and I had some things going on in the family, and it was stressing me out. And so someone would call. I was very, very aware of what had happened. Someone calls on one of my listings. I answer the phone. I give them the information. I did not want to continue to talk to them. I said, okay, have a good day. Bye. Right. I answered the question. I did the job. But the difference between that and when I have energy and when I'm happy and when I have some confidence and I feel good about myself, I answer the phone, I answer the question, and then I say, oh, but is this not a good fit for you? What is it that you're looking for? Tell me a little bit about what's going on with you. And then my conversation takes a whole nother turn, because I start to sell. That's selling to me, which is getting to know the person, asking how I can help them. And then we'd be able to go into some conversation. And honestly, even if they say, let's see if I get in trouble for saying this or not, but I'll usually say, are you working with anyone? Right? Do you have a realtor? Are you working with them? If they tell me, yeah, but they don't respond to me, or I haven't signed anything with them, and I'm like, great, fair game, open season. And I literally will pick up that client. And all by having a conversation. But when I'm depressed, when I mean, fill in the blank, you guys, for, when you're depressed, when you have an argument with a spouse or a child and you show up and you feel like garbage, or you didn't get enough sleep and you feel like garbage, you receive that phone call. You do not show up as your best self. You do not show up with the energy and the positivity. And so you don't convert.
Yes.
That's where you're at. So it has nothing, if we take it back, be careful that you're not telling yourself this, because this is not true, and this is not true, and even this is not true.
Yeah.
This is true. You're dang good at your business. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the marketplace, because you're dang good at your business and you can figure it out.
Yes.
That's where motivation comes from.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Is that helpful?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. Thanks for being willing to share. We all go through this, and a lot of people are not willing to raise their hand and say, man, this sucks sometimes.
Yes, it does.
Okay? Yes, it does. But you have the ability. So you have all that. And remember too, it has nothing to do with whether or not you're introverted, extroverted. Like, none of those things matter. It really just is, what is that self-talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to practice that, just be very aware of what is in that thought line. I always say to myself, if I'm feeling anxiety, or if I'm feeling depressed, any of those things, I stop yourself for a minute and just say, where's this coming from? Okay, I'm feeling this because why? And honestly, it's scientifically proven that actually will lower your body's stress response, just to identify the feeling that you're having and to label where that feeling is coming from. They've done brain scans, they've done all the things, and it really does lower your stress response. So then you're able to not be reactive. Like you were saying, you're reacting on emotion.
Yes.
You're lowering that stress response. So then you're not going to be reacting on emotion. And then you'll be like, oh, I'm telling myself this, and I know that's not true. Or, being able to identify it. The third step to that. So the first step is that you label the feeling that you're having. The second step is you label where the feeling's coming from. And then the third step is to ask yourself, what else could be true? So the other thing that could be true is the market's hard, or the market's different, but I can handle it. I can figure it out. I sold 6 right now, but I know how to sell more. So I'm going to figure out a way to do it. And then your brain's going to go to work at that point, trying to find the way to solve the problem, which is you want to sell more houses.
Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a question.
Sure. Go ahead. But tell me how to say your name.
Sapna. It's the
Sapanya.
second A is silent.
Okay. I'm like, I'm not even gonna try yet. Sapanya. Okay, welcome.
Yeah, I know, it's super hard. Okay, so my question is,
Mhm.
so we're at the last quarter and I haven't made my goal this year. Not gonna make any excuses. I knew exactly what I was doing. I was taking care of things that needed to be taken care of in my personal life.
Okay.
But now it's 3 months left, the race isn't over, and I have managed to get up to 24 transactions.
Good job.
Last year I did 47. And most of all of them I did since May. My sister got married, my son was moving, my daughter was moving. First 4 months of the year were just
Busy.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So now I would like to reach 30 at the minimum, but it would
Okay.
be amazing to reach 40 by the end of the year. So what I wanted to ask you, I'm getting very overwhelmed because it's almost like I am so motivated and excited every morning to, like, what am I going to do today? That I am taking this training, going here, going there, and I just kind of need to simplify it. What should I be doing the most because of the time crunch? I think we've got about 70 days left, and then
Mhm.
minus some of the holidays, and 60 days left. Okay.
Okay.
To and I want to get my pipeline built up so the first quarter is not empty. And I want to be able to close 7 more this year. So I wanted to know what you thought would be the fastest way to
Yeah,
get.
the fastest way. Okay, I love your story. So congratulations. Way to accomplish. That is amazing, especially in a short period of time with all the family things. Like, I hope you're recognizing that for yourself, how
Yes,
amazing that is,
I
how
am.
much you've
I'm
accomplished with
always, I celebrate every moment, even when it's bad. I'm like,
it.
okay, at least I got the listing appointment. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
get it because I kind of get stuck on, and I lost a lot of listing appointments because I get stuck on that. Can you do it for 4%? Can you do it for 5%? I'm like, no. And then I get stuck and I lose it. But
Okay.
I'm kind of, I'm becoming very aware of the fact that the people who are listing are very scared right now to list because they don't know where to
Yeah.
move. And to convince them, hey, we can do it simultaneously, look for a house. But there's a lot of houses sitting right now too, because many buyers are not pulling the plug, right? At the high interest rate. But it doesn't matter. What I've noticed is if I focus on that, I don't get anywhere. I need to go find the people who need a house and they are willing to pay the interest rate.
Right. Okay. So there's a couple things I heard when you told me your story. Okay.
Okay.
So one thing is how much you're focusing on your goal.
Right.
Yeah. So our goal is something we completely just make up. Okay.
Right. Right.
And goals are important because it gives us a benchmark to shoot for, which is important. But if we focus on the goal instead of focusing on the activity, then we start to spin. So
Gotcha.
the looking, you're looking all the places. This is what happens. I'm sure, like scrolling the Instagram and Googling where you're going to find the next leads or what's the best place to find leads. And that's the question I get a lot too. Like, what's the best place to find leads? So taking ourselves out of the goal a little bit, and we need to focus on the activity. Okay. And then we're going to look for the evidence that's worked for you so far, because each agent is different. I'm not going to tell you the way that I sell houses and where I get business from may not be the exact same place that you get business from. Right.
Okay.
So everybody's going to get this in a different way. So what historically have you tracked your business to find out where all your sales have come from?
Yes, I have. I'm
Okay.
good at open houses. Okay. And I have been doing open houses two times every weekend, but open house activity is getting really slow, right? Not, we don't, maybe 1, 2 visitors, but that's okay. I still do them. And the other way is just being out in the community, doing the things I do normally, which when I get frustrated with real estate, I just go into my volunteer activities. And that is a way that I get lifted up. Hey, I love helping people. I think if someone has a problem, I can, and then it's really kind of strange, but helping someone with a problem always seems to be leading into some real estate transaction.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's so weird how that happens.
Yes.
It does happen. And so I do go right now, to be honest with you, I always enjoy my burr months. by now I have quit working. I'm enjoying every holiday, going out to all the events. And I'm not doing that this year because I want to end the year with that I have put the effort in that I wanted to, right?
Okay.
So this is
Okay.
a different year for me.
So
And
this is our problem. Your
Go
goal
on.
does not equal your effort. Okay. And you are relating your goal to your effort. And so if you don't meet your goal, that means you haven't given the effort. It's a little bit very similar, just on a different twist than what we just talked about. So you can put in effort and not meet your goal because this is made up. You just randomly decided at the beginning of the year, right? Not knowing what the market was going to be like, you picked a number, right?
Correct.
Right.
True.
Okay. And again, I'm not, what I'm trying to do is expand like the way that you're thinking about this and just kind of shake it loose in your head a little bit, because the more pressure you put on yourself to meet your goal, the more spinning you're doing, right? That's the action that you're getting from the pressure that you're applying to yourself, is the spinning and looking for all the different ways to be able to do your bid, like to sell more houses.
So focus on an activity.
You need to focus on the activity. Because
Okay.
when you focus, you just told me, when you focus on going out and doing service and volunteering and helping people, somehow magically you end up finding clients. Because your focus is not on trying to find someone and forcing them into buying a house.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So although it feels, so the pressure, so what I want you to realize is the pressure that you're feeling is a self-imposed, made up pressure.
True. It's not going to be the end of the world if I don't get my goal.
No, as
You're
long
right.
as you have food on your table and you
Yes.
got your house payment paid,
Yes.
there's right. If your bills are paid, your needs are met, then your goal is still amazing to hit. And it doesn't mean that we remove the goal. You can keep it, but you just need it just needs to be kind of on the shelf. Like,
Okay.
this is what I'd like to do. This is on the shelf. And for you, focusing on the activities that you're doing, that will lead you to your goal. But focusing on the goal is leading you to spinning.
You're right. You're
Is that-
absolutely right, because yeah, you're absolutely correct. I am, and I mean, look, I just got on your call. You've sent me so many emails about your stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna click. Like
I'm
that
gonna
is
do
the
it.
mode I've been in this mode for like
Yeah.
almost 2 weeks. I started that 100-day challenge. And
Okay.
since then I've met some wonderful people. Like, I'm not a social media person. Okay.
Yeah.
I've met you on social media, and then I've met this one other person on social media, and I'm like, okay, let me see what she's saying. I normally would never even notice emails, right? Or
Yeah.
I don't scroll because I think I barely have an Instagram account, but
Yeah.
I'm always out there, and that's how my business comes. And yes, I am feeling anxiety that, hey, what happened here? But I had a great year. It was a very amazing year. I've been through quite a bit, grown as a person. I thought I would just fall when my daughter moved out of the city, but I have
Yeah.
not. We're actually closer. We talk a lot more now, but I think you're right. I just need to concentrate on activity.
Yeah.
Just an
Well, now,
activity.
and so here's the other part of this. So, and I do this even in my own business, right? In my coaching business.
Mhm.
When you're looking, like, sometimes there are places that we need to learn more. Sometimes we could get better. So say 2 people walk into an open house. What's our conversion rate? Looking at the activities that we're doing and then assessing them. How are we doing in those activities? Because it is true that buyers walking into open houses used to be a slam dunk. Oh, they want the house, like really easy to pick them up because the rates are low. So everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, and it was
Right.
easier to sell. Okay. It's not easier to sell now. That doesn't mean that we aren't selling. So
Right.
sometimes it looks more like we need to get more creative. Sometimes it looks like we're having more conversation with the person to help them understand and help them to be not fearful. We're coaching our clients is what we're doing. I've got clients right now They were spinning. We want to put our house on the market. We don't. Oh, let's go look at this house. Oh, we want to build a house. And I said, okay, just a second. I need to understand what our goal is and what we really want. What do you really want? And I will find a way to make it happen. And then they're like, well, we do really want to move, but the interest rates are so high. And then they go into the same fearful mold that we go into. Okay. If we recognize their emotional pattern, it's the same thing. If we're in it with them, it's not going to work. Right. So when you're out of that fearful and out of the emotional mode, then it's like, okay, what do the numbers, what are the facts? What does everything look like? What can I make happen? And then sure enough, I take them to one house yesterday, one builder. I'm like, this would fit all their criteria and their timeline and what they want and their budget, even with the higher interest rate. Here's a good match. Took them in, spent an hour and a half with them yesterday, signed a contract.
Wow.
Right. So we still make progress, but it's our conversation is changing. And if we're not up to date with the conversation, so I guess what I'm saying is it's not sometimes that we don't need help at all, right? Like you came to ask a coach because you did have a question, and sometimes we do need help. I've got coaching groups that I'm in on purpose, right? Because there's things that I need to learn and there's things I need to be checked on. There's skills I need to up level. It's the same thing. But if we signed up for 15 different things, we're not implementing any of them and we're not sure which one we really need, that's where we start to be in that overwhelm cycle. And we're just looking for the fastest way to fix our problem. We may still have a problem. We may still need to fix something, right? We just did some mindset work, but what do we really need to work on? And you've proven you know how to sell properties, you know how to go do it. Maybe it's just a little bit more of, what is the conversation now? Because the landscape is changing. And the landscape is going to keep changing as we have different buyers commission agreements. And all these things that are starting to happen with NAR, the landscape's going to change a little bit more. We just have to be able to navigate that and communicate it and use it to our advantage. That's all. Yeah. So there's always opportunity. There's always opportunity. So I'm glad you clicked on Ask a Coach today. That's what I'm here for.
You're also a coach, right? You're also a coach.
I am a coach. So I have a coaching group where my agents get coached every single week by me.
I've seen one of the Instagram videos.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a coach.
I mean, I'm so glad I got on because you're right. This is so simple. And I was making it so complicated because the anxiety was about the goal. Yeah. And it really doesn't matter. It's never mattered to me. I don't know why it's mattering this year. At the end of the year, every year, I'm like, oh, I got that number. That's great. Like, I'm not like, but I would set a goal, but it never mattered if I didn't reach it because I knew that I was always setting a higher goal than I really wanted. Right. But this year, for some reason, it's because I wasn't doing real estate every month.
That's what I was just going to say. I said, I bet it's because you feel like you have to catch up. Yeah. Yeah. I
feel like I have to catch up and it's still a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Of not feeling like, oh my goodness, I didn't do what I was supposed to, but I'm watching a lot of the articles out there. They're talking about, hey, this is just the beginning of the change that's about to happen. And to me, I was like, what? I thought the interest rates are going to go down, maybe at the beginning of the year, everything will be back to normal. But I'm coming to the realization, this isn't the norm. This is the new norm. And I need to adjust to it. And that's why I was like, what should I be doing? And I'm going to pick one activity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and just assess it. How's it going? I mean, open houses, if you still have a couple people coming in, at least there's not 0 people.
Yes.
Right. So just assess what's going on with the activity that you are doing, because sometimes activities will become kind of null and void at the moment. Like when at the height of the market in 2020, 2021, open houses, the house sold before an open house. We didn't do open houses because there was no time to do it and it was not necessary. You didn't call for sell by owners because they could sell the houses themselves because things were just flying off the market. Then things change and then we just adjust. So I still sell real estate. I've sold, I don't even know, 60 some houses this year. It's less than it was last year, right? Maybe, I don't remember, but I still sell real estate because I'm in the market to understand what's going on, how people are behaving, how we have to shift so that we get ahead of the game, not behind it. And that's really the trick to it. And if you just watch the news and then try to follow what shows up on Instagram or mainstream or the emails that come out or whatever, you're usually about a month and a half behind of whatever new trend is happening. So the new trend now that they're not yet talking about is how many people are expiring. Those houses that are sitting on the market that agents don't know how to have a conversation with someone. They don't know how to have the hard conversation of, hey, your house may sit for this long, or we need to price it more competitively, or we need to offer this, or this is what our strategy is. So many agents that came into the market that don't have the skills to have that conversation lose the listings. And when they lose those listings, it doesn't mean that that seller doesn't want to sell anymore. All it means is that person didn't know how to work the client, right? And work their deal. So now it's up for grabs. So that's an area, like I would start pouncing on that area and go pick up all the properties, right?
You're right. I saw one expire this morning, and yeah, that is starting to happen. Houses are getting, yes, because I'm about to list a house and my seller wants to overprice it, and that has been the new trend. And I said, look at this house. It's been sitting here for 144 days. They haven't sold. They keep taking the price down, and we're going to be higher than them. It's not a good idea. And that house, just last night, I signed the contract. This morning, that house expired.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh goodness, you know? So yeah, I think you're right. I have an expired letter I sent out, and I just developed it through another training class.
Yeah. So all you need to do is figure out how to add value.
Okay.
You just need to figure out how to add value. So a blanket letter, is going to be a blanket letter. Like it's going to be generic, right? So when you're going to approach a for sale by owner, an expired, any of those, you need to assess it, because asking them if they'd like to just relist their house means nothing, right? But if we take a look at it and we say, okay, your house is priced like this, it was this many days on the market, this is why it didn't sell, this is what your description looked like, this is where I could improve, this is why, like giving them the data and the information that says, hey, I know that you were trying to sell, however, these are some of the reasons why you didn't. Right. And sometimes it's price, sometimes it's not price, sometimes it's a very poor representation, sometimes it's the photos and the description. I mean, there's so many different reasons why houses don't sell. Sometimes it's an agent that doesn't answer their phone very well, so they didn't provide very good service. Maybe they didn't know how to negotiate very well. Right. What is it? What value do you have? What can you provide in order to help them to be able to reach their goal? Their goal is to sell their house. Right. So why agents don't, well, they're like, oh my gosh, getting it expired is so hard, because you're just calling them and saying, would you like to relist your house? Or for sale by owner, would you like to use an agent? Like, why don't you sell to me why I should use you? What value are you providing? Like, what's the difference? What's the difference between one guy's sign and another guy's sign? Right. That right there is conversion. That type of conversation, that's confidence. And then that leads to conversion. So just be very intentional with how you approach people. And that's, I mean, again, that's focusing on the activity and how you're performing in that activity to be able to get to the goal. Yeah.
Confidence is a big thing in this. The sellers can notice it right away.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If we use words like should, or maybe, or this could, that right there seeds a grain of doubt inside that client. So we have to show up with, this is what's happening in the market. This is what's going to go on with your house. Oh, do you want to list too high over? Great. 2 weeks. I will give you 2 weeks. If we have nothing in 2 weeks, or we have everyone that comes through says the price is too high, we now have our market data. You've given it a shot to see if it's a high price or not. We now have our market data that says we need to lower your price. Are you good with that? And being able to have that conversation at the beginning so that it's not a surprise 2 weeks later when you're like, hey, it's time to drop the price. We tried it, didn't work. Here's our feedback, or here's our non-feedback because we have no traffic. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. Thank you.
So you're welcome. You're welcome. What type of paid ads with landing pages would be beneficial in this market? Oh, heavens. Good question. Put me on the spot. Let's see.
This gives me anxiety. Landing pages give me anxiety.
Yeah. And are they my favorite? They're not. I mean, they work. Okay, you came to my landing page, so you get it right. I'm just saying it's a lot of work. Who would we want to market? So it depends on your area, and it depends on who. So I would ask yourself the question, who's going to buy in your area? Okay, and get that down to like a demographic. Are you guys selling to retired? Do you have more first-time home buyers? Do you have like middle-aged people that are moving up? What's your hottest properties? What's moving in our area? And I'm in a small town too, so I got you there. But in our area, anything under 300,000 is not moving. Like even under 400,000, not moving, dead in the water. Okay. If you're under 250, you might move. But our first time home buyers can't afford what now is the first time. Our 3-bedroom, 2-bath in our area is up to $400,000. They can't have a $4,000 house payment. These kids can't afford that. Right. So I'm not going to market to that area of people if I need a sale sooner. Right now, if I wanted to fill my pipeline for 2024, then I would market to those people that said more like, I will notify you when the prices are at a spot where you can be able to afford it, right? If you want to get out of your rental, if you want to be able to buy a home, your first home, I'll let you know when it's the perfect time. And then I would gather that email list of people, and they would be future business for me. So are we looking at future business, or are we looking at what's going on right now? Maybe the ad looks like, did you try to sell your house and it didn't work? I can get the job done. Maybe it looks like that. But again, you're running an ad depending on how you can target that, how Facebook allows you and Instagram allow you to target people. You're running an ad that may go out to a lot of people. So it's a higher ad spend for a conversion. So it has to be dialed in. You could run a for sale by owner ad. They're struggling right now because if our regular people are struggling, regular meaning hired an agent, that means for sale by owners are also struggling, right? So you could run it for sale, trying to do it on your own, but you're frustrated. Like let me give you some information. I can help you. That's a type of ad I would probably run right now. Yeah. Thinking about selling by yourself. Download this 10 reasons or 10 things that you'll need to list your house. And then you can at least gather their name and their email and their phone number, and then you can call and have a conversation. So that's a long game. It's a long game doing ads. But it's not a bad thing to do. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it has to be very specific, and it's just, you have to know going into it that if I want to sell 20 more houses by the end of the year, they're not coming from Facebook ads. I bet you. Those people have to be nurtured a lot more. The customer facing activities that we do, getting out in the community, talking to people, you're more likely to have someone buy something from you because you've created some relationship with them. So we need both. It's like a 50-50. We need the stuff running in the background, and then we need the customer facing stuff to get to our goal. I'm impatient. So welcome to my life. I have no patience. So I'm like, oh, I need to sell a house right now. I literally would just get on the phone and call every freaking for sale by owner. Or when I drive around, like I have like an eyeball for, oh my gosh, there's a sign, pull over. Let's find out what's for sale and what they've gotten, how it comps out, and find out all the information before I approach them to have a conversation because they want to sell. Or I go do open houses because guess what? They want to buy. So I'm getting in front of people who want to do something. And then my amazing sales skills is going to get me to convert them to work with me. Even if they've been talking to somebody else, but they didn't sign anything, they're mine. Right? Because I'm going to show them how awesome I am and convert them to work with me. So it's next year, I'm going to be working on confidence inside the academy. I always do a 90-day program at the beginning of every year. And this next year, it's going to be confidence, because the more confident we are in the delivery of our information, it's not just the information, but it's also the delivery of our information. We are more likely to convert people. I don't sell 120 houses because I'm the best at my job. I sell 120 houses because I can tell people how amazing I'm going to make them feel and how I'm going to take care of them. And that's what converts them to work with me. I'm not fancy. This is so fancy today. Let me just tell you, I was like, should I put on the sweatpants? I mean, I'm not fancy, but it doesn't take fancy because people care about how they feel. They really don't care about how you look. They don't care about any of those other things. Yeah. Okay. What a good session today, you guys. Those were really great questions. So I appreciate you guys being willing to share and ask those. So watch your emails. I'll be sending them out. But if you are interested in coming to the Academy, this is the kind of stuff we do every week. You've got access to me, which is awesome, and all of my sources, all of my plans, wahaha, all my secrets. So
you do one-on-one?
I do one-on-ones. So I do have options. I don't take very many one-on-one clients for long term. But when you come into the Academy, you do get a one-on-one session with me because I like to go through your business, see where you're at and what we need to do to get you some faster wins, see what changes we need to make right away. So you do get a one-on-one when you come in the Academy. As of now, until November 1st, it is lifetime access. So once you pay your tuition, you are in for lifetime access. All of my recorded trainings, everything, all my programs, you've got all of it. Plus you've got live coaching every single week.
And how much is that?
It's $279 a month or $3,000 one-time payment. So 12 monthly payments.
I'm in the Academy. Just do it.
Just do it. Allison's in the Academy.
Just do it. I'm in the Academy. It's well worth it.
Yeah.
So, I'm one of those people who signs up for stuff, never gets out, and sometimes doesn't use it because I know when you sign up for something like that, it's accountability.
Yes.
It's getting in and learning something and then implementing it and then that goal, like,
right.
Everyone is always like, oh, I need to do better than last year, better than last year. I'm super happy with doing the same every year, staying consistent. And I know what my number needs to be. And as long as I hit the number, it doesn't matter. None of that other stuff matters. This has been one strange year now. All of a sudden
freaked you out.
I'm freaking out. Yeah. And, I'm going to look at it. And
it's not so there's go at your own pace trainings and there's so many of them and they're not all going to apply to you. So that's why I kind of cater it to where are you at in your business? What's your experience level? And then I will point you to what's going to be helpful for you, but then also just the one-on-one training or the one-on-one coaching and then the group coaching. Because here's the thing, I've got agents that come in and they're sometimes life's gangbusters, they're doing great, everything's fine. And then something changes. And when that something changes, you always will have the coach to come back to say, oh my gosh, something changed. What are we doing? Right? Or the commission is changing. Now, how are we going to get paid by our buyers? And how are we going to talk about that? That's why we live coach every single week. It's a topic that I literally decide on Sunday or Monday. And we coach on Wednesdays because it depends on what's going on in the market. It depends on what our struggles are. It just depends on what type of development we need. So it's very, it's being able to have conversations like this, right? On the weekly. I've got coaches. And it was the one reason why I went from having one business to $2 million businesses, like when I thought I didn't have time in my life, right? It's a huge difference. Coaching so awesome. That's why I've invested myself and all my time and everything into it. So we'd love to have you in the Academy, but yes, until November 1st, it is lifetime access. So it's pretty awesome.
That means that you can go back and look at the recordings forever.
Yep. I actually put all my recordings on private podcasts too. So we're realtors. Like I try to make it as flexible as possible. So if you miss a Wednesday session, then you can just grab it on the podcast 2 days after we have the session. And then you've got access to all the trainings on podcast. So I make it as accessible because I know, we're busy. I have to listen to my trainings in the car too. So yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming today and for being willing to share. Have a wonderful week.